Internet is goofy again today. Internet is goofy again today. Oh, very good. Very good, Brooke. Very good. I like that. Very good. Well, are you looking forward to the long weekend? Yeah. Okay. Because I think I haven't looked at the calendar, but I think afterward, pretty much full steam ahead, right? Until Easter, spring break or something. Mm-hmm. We're almost done. Almost done. School years go by so quickly. Good morning, Jojo. How you doing today? Did you have a good day yesterday? Joe, you ever play darts on that dartboard? It was fun? Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad it was fun. So what kind of things did you guys get to do, or what was the best part of it, do you think, Joe? So Brooklyn, would you rather travel backward or forward in time? Backward? How come? All of it was fun? Oh, that makes me happy, Joe Marion. Very good. I'm glad you had a good day. I'm glad you had a good day. So, Jamarian, would you rather travel backward or forward in time? ¿Y por qué? Why? Ah, Brooklyn, good answer. Me too. Me too. But I would want to know what I know now, right? That would be wonderful. I'd want to know what I know now. As far as you would want, it's just up to you. If you could get in a time capsule or something and travel, would you go forward or backward? It's kind of amazing how backward. Okay. Something special happened in that. Wonder why is that? Why do you think we do that? Very good, Joe Marion. Why do you think that? I mean, I don't know. 98 just for conversation. Why would so many people always think about going backward? Hmm, is it because we want to go backward because it's what we know, you know, versus going into the big unknown if we go forward, right? Good morning, Arshad. Yeah. I don't know. Arshad, would you go forward or backward in time if you could? I would go backward, definitely. Just like 98% of other people would go backward. Yeah. It's interesting. Psychology. Hmm. Okay, you guys ready to start today? So we kind of have a lot to do today just because short week. Do you guys have your sticky note or whatever? We need our sticky note, right? Always keep your sticky note. That's why we want to stick it on our computer, or stick it on the table somewhere. Yeah, so make sure you guys have your sticky notes. Good morning, Marlacia. How are you today? All right. Do we have our sticky notes, you guys? So yesterday or whatever day it was, my days are kind of messed up. We started our sticky notes and we put our past tense endings, right, on our sticky note so that we can have them like as our cheat sheet since we don't have guided notes, right? And we want to make sure that we keep we're going to add to them, yeah, because these are just the regular AR verbs. So you want to make sure you have these handy because what's going to happen from here to the end of the school year is like any assignments or anything like that, they're going to be all mixed. You know what I mean, you guys? They're going to have present tense and future tense, the near future tense and the present progressive and the past tense. And they're just going to be all in there. And it's not going to tell you, right? It's going to expect you, the book is going to expect you to be able to pick them out, right? Which is what? Tense. So sticky note in this case is really going to help. Okay. All right. Any questions about that? All right. So, clase, hoy es miércoles. It is Wednesday, right? El 11 de febrero. And normally we have a short period on Wednesday, but just so they are regular AR verbs. Okay. And then next week we're going to add to it and then we'll continue to add. Okay. So let me ask you guys a question. I would really prefer if you guys unmuted. Okay. But I have a question for you. And it's a weird question. It's I don't know, vocabulary question in a way, classroom vocabulary question. When I say preterite, like it's the preterite tense, what am I saying? What is the preterite? Do y'all remember? Like up here behind me, right? It says the preterite tense. And so when would we use these? I guess is another way of asking the question. Very good, Brooklyn. Anybody else? What is the preterite? Arshad, Jojo, Marlacia, I don't know if you watched class YouTube or not. What is the preterite? Because we have to know that because we're going to see it, we're going to hear it. What is the preterite, you guys? When do we use that? Jamarian? Okay. If you don't know, you don't know, right? That's the answer that we pop in the chat so that I have an idea of what's going on, right? Okay, so mental note, you guys, the preterite tense is one of the past tenses in Spanish. In other words, it is what we use, right? If we're talking about things in the past. Okay. It's I went, I was, I ate, I walked, whatever. It's all of those things that those completed actions that we did in the past. Okay. So when we see that preterite, we need to realize that we're talking about things that happened in the past. Okay. All right. So just as a warmer upper, I have the short little tutorial video for us. I need everybody to make sure y'all can hear, make sure y'all can see. Okay. All right.
Buenas.
Okay, are we ready to listen? Jamarian, Arshad, Brooke, are we ready? Okay, here we go. Let me know if it's not loud enough.
Today we begin a journey into the past. No, not like in a science fiction movie. In Spanish verb world. So now we're going to begin expressing
In the year 2000, I traveled, viajé. Okay. So if we, is that a question, Brooke? You have a question? Okay. So if we look at my background, if y'all can see my background, I don't know, I'm probably pretty small. Viajé, that's the form that goes with yo. And we have to have the accent marks, you guys. We have to have the accent marks because otherwise it's going to be a different word with a different meaning. So I had asked you, I don't know, last month sometime, I guess, to install that Spanish keyboard. We need to try to use that, particularly here, because I'm going to need to know that you realize that it's past tense whenever we're working on something. And then it changes pronunciation, not just meaning, right? So viajé, I traveled. En avión, we did our modes of transportation. For the first time, no me gustó, right? I didn't like it, right? So remember, we would normally say no me gusta, right? I don't like it. That's present tense. Gusto, okay? So we need to kind of pay attention, and just a reminder that you got to have those accent marks, you guys.
En 2004, preparé la cena por primera vez. ¡Qué desastre! En 2009, bailé con Jaime Rodríguez por primera vez. Él bailó muy bien. Y en 2017, enseñé mi primera clase de español. All the verbs in those sentences are in a past tense called the preterite, el pretérito. Can you recognize which AR verbs they come from? El pretérito is used to talk about completed actions in the past. Final, finished, over and done. To form preterites of regular AR verbs, drop the AR from the infinitive and add these endings. Yo limpié. Tú hablaste. Alina cantó. Julio y yo nos peinamos. Vosotros escuchasteis. Greg y Beto jugaron.
Okay, I'm going to pause it again. So you guys, we talked about, we tried to compare, right? What was our present tense regular AR verb endings, which are O, AS, A, amos, and on, right? And we tried to compare them, what's similar, what's different. So we said that in regular AR verbs in the present tense, the yo form had the O, right? And here in oh, wait, can y'all hear me now? That's why this accent mark is absolutely imperative, because if I took the accent mark off and it was part of a larger paragraph or larger of a sentence, right, then canto is the yo form in the present tense, right? It's saying I sing. So if that's not what you're saying, if you want to say she sang, then you have to have the accent mark. So y'all can see how that accent mark is super important, okay? So our endings are going to be E with the accent, aste, o, amos, thankfully, never changes, the nosotros, and then aron, aste, o, amos, aron, okay? One more time, aste, o, amos, aron. Those are the kind of things that you guys should say to yourself in your head so that you make a memory, muscle memory, okay? Hace o amos aron.
Please make a big mental note that the endings for the first and third person singular forms require a written accent. ¿Qué pasó ayer, chicos? Yo limpié el baño. Y Alina cantó y su mamá tocó el piano.
Okay, so quick question. So the question says, what happened yesterday, kids? And the first one says, Yo limpié el baño. Who can translate that for me? You don't have to look it up. Limpiar means to clean. So how would we translate Yo limpié el baño? If limpiar is to clean. Jamarian, I need to hear from you. Arshad, I need you to join us. How would I translate that? Yo limpié el baño. If limpiar is to clean, how would I translate it? Very good, Brooklyn. Jamarian? Arshad? Remember, if you don't know, that's what you tell me. If limpiar is to clean, how would I translate that? What happened yesterday, kids? Yo limpié el baño. Yes, very good, Marlesia. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yeah, we would say, Jomarian, we would say, I cleaned the bathroom, right? I cleaned past. How would we translate the last line? Because we have to be able to recognize what verb it is too, right? Arshad, how would we translate the last line? Alina cantó y su mamá tocó el piano. We have to know what it means, right? So that we can communicate, right? What's that last line trying to tell us? Jamarian, I need to hear from you, my friend. Arshad, you too. Alina cantó. What does that mean? Alina's her name, obviously. What does that mean? Very good, Brooklyn. Anybody else? Because I need you to try. Yeah. Very good, Joe Marion. Yep. And Alina sang and her mom played the piano. Okay. Past tense completed actions, right? Okay.
Natalia, ¿tú y tu hermana lavaron la ropa? ¿La ropa? No, pero nos lavamos las manos. I hope you noticed that the preterite ending for the nosotros forms is the same as that used for the present tense.
Okay, so if the nosotros form is the same, I'll say, how are we supposed to know if something is past tense or not? If the form is the same, how would we know if it's something that happened in the past or if it's something that happens generally speaking? How would we know? If we were to read these two lines, right, how would we know that we're talking about an action that happened in the past? Ideas? Again, if you don't know, that's what you tell me in chat, please. Yes. Yes. Good, Joe Marion. Very good. All right. So if this is a conversation, which it says it is because we have these dashes, right? Remember in Spanish, they don't really use quotation marks. So this first person here is asking Natalia. She's saying, Natalia, did you and your sister wash the clothes? Did you wash, right? Or you washed we freeze again? Did we freeze again? Okay, this tells me that aron is the ending, the past tense ending, the preterite ending that goes with ellas. That tells me that this conversation is, did you wash the clothes, or you washed the clothes in the past, right? And the girl says, clothes, no, but we washed our hands. Now, why? Because lavamos doesn't tell us that. It's the context of the fact that lavaron is past tense. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, okay. So context, that's how we're going to know when we see lavamos, when we see an
Did you notice that by any chance? Well, it is. So when you say something like caminamos a la escuela, it might be confusing out of context. So be sure your meaning is clear. Compare. Caminamos a la escuela los viernes. We walk to school every Friday. Present tense. Ayer caminamos a la escuela. Yesterday we walked to school. Preterite, a completed action in the past. Okay, I hope that your first step into the past tense has been relatively easy. Adios.
Okay, muy bien. All right, so let's move on. Any preguntas? Anything that was particularly confusing there? Something that maybe we froze up and you didn't catch because of the internet? Okay. All right, so let's practice a little more. Make sure that you have your sticky note, or make sure you can see my background, either which way. I'm going to put some slides up, and we're going to practice doing some past tense. I am going to ask you guys to translate as well, right? So if you unmute, it would go faster. And then we are going to, then I have a GIM kit for us. And then we're going to talk about our quiz, because we're going to have a quiz on this next week. Okay. So see how much time we have. Okay. Muy bien. So let me share my screen with you. All right. Right. Give me a thumbs up if y'all can see that. See? Okay. So once again, you guys, our regular verbs in AR in the preterite, el pretérito, right? In the past tense. So, asteo, amos, and aron. That you got to put that like little song in our brains, right? Asteo, amos, aron. Just repeat it. Asteo. The most important one, right? That's why it's at the top of the list. Ayer, anoche, pasado, el fin de semana pasado, so like last weekend. La semana pasada, last week. We talked about these the other day, right? El mes pasado, el año pasado, maybe last spring, la primavera pasada, el invierno pasado, el otoño pasado, el verano pasado. So you see the thing, pasado, right? In the past. Okay. And so ayer, yesterday, last night, anoche, right? But for the rest of these, you can pick any word you want, right? And stick a pasado or a pasada on it. And that'll mean like last week, last month, last year, last whatever. Okay. Okay. Obviously, we're not going to do all of these. Notice that they are all regular AR verbs. Okay. So I'm going to circle a couple of these, and then the ones I would like for you to do. And then think about them. Use your sticky note, use the background, use the anchor chart there on the slide. pop your answers in the chat. Make sure that you number them, please. Okay, so that it's easier for me to check. Okay, so there's 5 of them. Use the verb in the parenthesis. Remember, you don't have to know what it means. You just drop the AR and add the appropriate ending, okay? I don't need the whole sentence in the chat, just number and then the form that you want to use. And if you can't put an accent where you need one, just use the little, what is that? Like a little singular quotation mark from your keyboard. Just something that tells me that you know there should be an accent there. All right, let's see. Jojo, what you got? You got 5. Okay. Number 7. Yeah, Arshad, all you have to do is put in the fill in the blank, right? You don't have to type the whole sentence. Yeah, that's okay. It'll change the numbers. I get that. As long as you guys go in order. Okay. Arlesia, you tried a couple of these. Rashad? Yep. Very good. Arlesia? Muy bien. Good job. That's it, Brooke. Good job. Okay. All right. Well, let's look at our answers, you guys. So yo lavé. Okay. Tú pasaste. Tú pasaste. El domingo pasado, last Sunday, Roman lavó. la ropa. He washed the clothes. Organize the closets. Okay. All right. Muy bien. Muy bien, clase. Good job. You guys did a great job. Okay. We're going to move on here. Now, here's where things really take a turn. So if you have your sticky note, this is something that you want to add. Obviously, not all of it. Okay. We're going to summarize here in just a second. Okay. So we have verbs that end in CAR, GAR, and ZAR. Okay. Now, let me give you some examples real quick. All right. You guys, this is super important. So I'm going to try to simplify as best I can. Okay. For the Spanish, it is all about how it sounds in the ear. Okay. And so because of that, they had to make some changes because when you add certain letters together, this messes up the sound. Well, they think it messes up the sound. So let me give you an example of like a verb that ends in CAR. So it would be like buscar, to look for, okay? Or sacar, like to take a picture, right? Sacar fotos, we learned that earlier. Llegar, to arrive, okay? Keeping with the whole plane, train, bus scenario, okay? So those are some verbs that end in a CAR. And when we pronounce them, buscar, sacar, and, or I'm sorry, that's llegar's and GAR. Sacar, okay? Then that C is like a K, right? Buscar and sacar. But in Spanish, in the yo form only, okay, you guys, in the yo form only, because it ends in an E, right? A C and an E together, then the C becomes a S sound. So that can't be. That goes against nature, right? And they still want to maintain the K sound. So in order to do that, right, the C has to become a QU, right? A QU in order to keep the K sound. So it's busqué and saqué, right? In order to keep the K sound. So, and only in the yo form. Not difficult. However, we have to remember it. I remember, okay, that it's the C becomes a QU in order to maintain the sound. Okay, you guys? The next bit is the GAR verb, okay? And that would be like jugar, which we just learned was to play, and llegar, okay? GAR verbs. Once again, it's about sound and only in the yo form, right? So in order to keep the G sound, instead of making it J, okay, if we added the E, in order to keep the G sound, it too becomes a UE on the end, right? Y'all with me? It's all about sound. We have to make it sound correct. So if that helps you remember, I don't know. Okay, another verb form would be the ZAR. which means to begin, empezar, empezar. And in order to keep that sound in the yo form, it becomes a C. The Z becomes a C. Almorcé, I ate lunch. Yo empecé, I began. So unfortunately, you guys, I mean, this information will be in the module, right? Remember, it only applies to the yo forms. And it's just something that we have to remember because we're going to see it all the time. Okay. All right. So let's see what we can do here. All right. So notice that these are CAR, GAR, and Z. These are the ones that are going to change. And notice that they're all in the yo form because that's going to be the only one that changes. Okay. Y'all with me so far? Give me a thumbs up. All right. So let's just do a couple of these. Let's do number 4, número 4. Let's do número 1. And let's do número 8. Let's do number 9 also. Okay. All right. 1, 4, 8, and 9. Once again, remember that these are those spelling changes. We got to keep the sound. So pop your answers in the chat. You don't have to write the whole sentence, right? Okay. G, U, Q, U, or C. Well, that would be present tense, right? Arshad, we're talking past tense. We're still talking past tense, right? Okay, very good, Marleisha. Give it a try. Right? So the GAR become this, the CAR become this, yeah, and the ZAR become that. So make your changes. Okay, very good, Jo Marion. Okay, very good, Arshad. Marleisha. Yes, but remember your accent mark, right? Mm-hmm. Keep going, you guys. If you haven't done all 4, keep trying. We're almost done here. We're going to play a Gim Kit in a minute, so give it your best shot. Yep, very good, Arshad. So again, you guys, this is only the yo form, okay? You don't have to worry about anything else, just the yo form. Okay, a few more answers, you guys. Let's try number 1. Did everybody try number 1? Yeah, very good, Brooklyn. Number 4, Brooklyn, try that one again. Because almorzar is a ZAR verb, right? Okay. All right. Let's check our answers, you guys. So let's look at number 1. Some of you guys had a little issue with number 1. So let's take a look at it. Huge, right? If it's a hugar, becomes GU, right? So huge, GU, right? And then we add our ending. Okay. Then we had almorzar, to have lunch. ZAR verb becomes a C. So almorce. Almorce. Okay. Number 8, it was pagar, a GAR verb. So in order to keep the G sound, it becomes GU, pagué. Tocar, in order to keep the K sound in the CAR verb, it becomes a QU, right? K, toque. Okay, and then comencé, right? ZAR, so comencé. So once again, you guys just take a look at the screen. Know that they're all yo forms. A CAR verb gets a QU to keep the K sound. The GAR gets a GU in order to keep the G sound. And the ZAR gets a C in order to keep the S sound. Okay. All right. Preguntas, questions. Okay. All right. Muy bien. Good job, you guys. It's been a lot, right? It's been a lot. Past tense is difficult because it kind of changes our pattern up. Okay. Everything that we've been practicing all of a sudden kind of goes out the window. But you guys did a great job. Good job. Remember that next week we have a quiz if you weren't with us at the first of the class period on Thursday. And what was I gonna say? Oh, and we're gonna add, and we're gonna do the other kinds of verbs. So for today, let's just finish focusing on our AR verbs. I'm going to give you a link. And let's see if we can access this GimKit. I don't know. Try it. Okay, try that. No? Did it let you join? Give me a heads up, you guys. It did not. Okay. All right, give me a second. Let's see what I can come up with here. Yeah. Okay, go ahead and back out of that. I don't know. Maybe that's the teacher thing. I'm not sure. Hold on. It shouldn't be, but if it is, then it is. Whatever. All right. Let me just log in again. Maybe with all the internet stops and starts, it logged me out. I'm not sure. Yes, that's probably what happened. Okay, here's what we got. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and back out of that other link. And here we go, you guys. We got draw that or snowy survival. What do you want to play? Draw that or snowy survival. My vote is for snowy survival, but it's up to you. Okay, I need a tiebreaker vote because we've got one for each. All right, Marlacia broke the tie, so it's snowy survival. Let's see, snowballs per question. Ooh, we have one person who's going to be cursed. Okay, so we all have to pitch in here. Okay, ignore me. Because it wouldn't be fair if I played, right? So you're just going to need to ignore me. But everybody needs to play because you guys are going to have to work together with this one. All right. We got JoJo and me. Anybody else? JoJo's doing a happy dance. Are we all in? Arshad? Okay. I'm going to start. Here we go. I still need one more person though. Okay. Ignore me. Here comes the first curse. Come on, Arshad. Jump in. Are you in, Jamarian? Okay. Well, I don't see you in there, Jamarian. Where you at? Okay. Job, Malaysia. Yeah, if you have your cheat sheet. Okay, one more minute, you guys, and then I'd like for us to switch on to something else. At 9:30, we'll switch over. Did I say 9:30? One more minute. How about that? Let's do that. One more minute. 9:27. Hey, Malaysia. All right, you guys, I'm going to end the game. So finish up what you're doing. Okay, did that work? Because it was giving me a little issue. No, didn't work for you. Okay, go ahead and back out of that, you guys. It won't let me end the game. So go ahead and end the game. All right, how'd you do? Go ahead and end the game. You can back out of that. Okay. Who was cursed? Yeah. All right. Okay. So the next couple of things that I would like for us to do, we still have about 10 minutes left. The first thing I want us to do is I want to show you what our quiz on Thursday is going to be. Okay. So that way, if you want to study, if you want to prepare, my suggestion is, of course, always to make sure that you have your practice assignments done, right? Because the more you practice before a quiz, the better it is. All right, so take a look at my screen. Okay, this is the teacher version, which, okay, that's fine. I just kind of want to show you what you will need to know. Okay, Jamarian, you ready? Arshad? All right, so I put in some helpful hints of notes and stuff like that are not, we're not going to be able to use those, but I put in what some of these words mean, right? So that, because they're all out of context, and that might help you. So I gave you kind of a little cheat sheet up here. In the first section, you are going to need to match those medios de transporte. So that was our vocab for that first section: by train, by car, by bus. Okay, we practiced all of those. By metro, right? By subway, those kinds of things. What is an estación, right? The station, the train station, or whatever. Okay, so you'll have to match those. In the second section, okay, I hope y'all are listening. In the second section, you're going to select the vocab word. So you'll have to understand what the sentence is saying. Now, you don't have to know okay. You will have to understand the main idea. Okay. Brooke, are you listening? So, queremos ir de viaje a Australia. What is this? Tenemos que ir en. So, queremos. Do y'all remember that verb querer? What's querer? Or ir de viaje. What was that? Was in our vocab. Ir de viaje. What is ir de viaje? Jamarian, help me. What is ir de viaje? Yes, to go on a trip, right? To go to travel in Australia. Okay, so we're talking, so the sentence is talking about traveling in Australia. So we have to go by, see this preposition by, we practice that together, and then you pick, how would you get to Australia if you're going to travel there? Okay, so you have to know the vocab. Okay, so it's as simple as that, just how you're going to get to those places. That's why we did that out loud. We traveled, we practiced all of that. You can go back and watch the YouTube video if you need to do that again. In section 3 is the past tense, the preterite tense. So Miguel y yo, tú, Ramiro, yo, Lucas y Javi, and then you pick the sentence. okay, based on the correct form of the verb that matches in the preterite tense. The last one says, select the sentence that most logically follows each statement or question. A mi abuela le gusta viajar. My grandmother likes to travel. Right? So which one of these would fit? Which one is logical? She talked to my mom. She listened to modern music. She traveled to Mexico. She took a lot of pictures. Right? So you pick one. Which one do you think is the best that logically follows the statement or the question? Okay. All right. Any questions about that? That'll be Thursday. Okay. So feel free to practice. You can go back and watch the YouTube, et cetera, whatever y'all need to do. Because we didn't take notes. We don't have guided notes, right? For you to go back. The slides are in Canvas. There's stuff in your resource library, but it's probably easier to just put the YouTube video in and just fast forward as you need. Okay. All right. Any questions there? Okay. Because that will give you the practice that you need. Today, as soon as my computer allows me to, I am going to, there's going to be a VHL that'll help you practice as well. So give me a second. I'm waiting on my computer. My apologies. Come on, silly thing. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting ready to share here. Okay, so if you guys can take a look at my screen real quick, right? We are in Unit 7. So this is the practice sheet I was talking about. Here are your vocab slides that you can practice with. And this is the one that I just opened, which is in your VHL, Tim in Argentina. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. It's practicing those past tense. And like I said, now you know what's going to be on the quiz. Okay, so we have about 5 minutes. If you were unable to complete this practice sheet, I would work on that, or you can work on your VHL. The point is, you have about 5 minutes, and if you need to ask a question, I'll be happy to help. Okay? All right. Bueno. So Marion, what you working on? Remember that in the resource library, you guys have those AR verb endings. You have, if you want to just look at the visual, it's in the resource library. You can just kind of open that in another tab, maybe. Yeah, I mean, make sure that you guys, we're not done with the third 9-week period. So remember, you can still do any missing assignments from the third quarter, from the third 9 weeks. Okay. All right. So we won't see each other again until next Tuesday, you guys. So you have plenty of time to kind of get caught up, plenty of time to get ready for the quiz. If you need me for any reason, just inbox me in Canvas and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, guys? All right. Enjoy your long weekend. Stay safe. Adios a todos. Have a great day. Adios.